Alright, make sure everything is set up correctly. I need to turn the volume up. Yep, wrong one. Share, share, share. With a classic throwback. And there we go. Oh boy, fresh cringe. My favorite kind of cringe. Yeah, we're going back to the past and looking at all the old stuff that sort of feel regretful, but hey, what the... Alright, we're ending this year, so why not take a look at history and, like, recuperate on all the memories that we had back when the series was fresh. Let's see. Anyone interested? So gonna wait for a few more people to come by before we get started. Yeah, I'm a little bit like tired because I had like a long day of work. So hopefully this like enjoyable like experience of looking back at the past would like, you know, mellow me. Yep, how fresh indeed. Good day, Osprey. Just waiting for a few more minutes. I will wait till like when it gets to like 5, then we could get started. Because after all, we need to like get some people here. Good day, Bruno Channel. Mofsit as well. I don't know what Mofsit is. Oh, good to hear. Happy birthday to your father, and good to see Marillo Fancini. I don't know if I butchered that name or not. Oh boy, we got a lot of people here. But yeah, we're watching a couple of classic videos and like discussing on like how different it was back then, back when I first started this Law series, back when it was Nexus back then, and back when it was known as Saints Flow Edition back then. Because back then, I was a big fan of the Saints Row game that I decided to name a series after the energy drink from that game. And that's what it was back then, before eventually I decided to change it to Nexus, which would later then become Hyper Edition. A lot of people joining in. Welcome Rabbit Creator, welcome Sketch Artist, Zed Law 45. But yeah, we're gonna be like going through like history lessons and story on how like what it was back then, long before the before we got to where we at now. So first video is like what was originally the test pilot and the WIP version of what it used to be. Like the very first prototype of what this series was back then. What's the one hidden? Oh yeah, I don't even remember what was that one hidden video. It's been probably a while. Probably something I like deleted a long while back. But here was like the test footage for what my Law was. Like this was back when I had Sunny Vegas, and I wanted to start it with the Law series, and so I just gave like a little small test preview of what it was. So here what it looked like. Yep, that was basically it. That was literally the first like 2 seconds of footage. Some ragdolls that kicked some other ragdoll, and that's it. That was like literally the testing from the way back when. And like, you know, the top half stage was there for a while. It was originally going to be an actual full-on stage, but someone did suggest it'd be better to take place inside, in which I had to like edit out one of the room inside, which would be the stage for the top hat airship, at least for a while, up until Hyper Edition came around. And then most of it is to like text and explain. This was the original character select screen that I initially had for, and it wasn't really the first one. I did think I had like other characters set. It was way different, but like this was the original roster that was fully finalized back then. And you could pretty much tell a lot of character was cut from the list. Mainly, with most of them being that they were already planned to be in other series. These include Tracer, Junkrat, which was already a moveset around the time. Phil Swift was there. He was already planned for another Lost series. SMG4 Mario, Chili Cheese Dark SpongeBob, yeah, I think that was mostly it. The rest, there was some other character that was cut along the way. Like I didn't really fully plan Thanos back then before bringing him back to Hyper Edition. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of character that was back then before they were moved aside from the main edit roster. Like, you could even see Thanos that was originally going to be the Marvel vs. Capcom version of Thanos before he was, like, completely removed in favor of the movies version of Thanos, which itself was completely moved to the side in order to make room for the, for later installment, like, another, like, set of character. I do plan on, like, keeping Thanos, but, yeah, I haven't really got around to it since I have, like, all the other characters from the roster. Not to mention, I still need to get Sunny Vegas again to get working on some of those characters, which won't be too long. I will get paid shortly, so that should help me a little bit. I heard there's, like, a Steam version of Sunny Vegas, but, I don't know if that would help or not. I mean, I could probably give it let's see if that would help. If people tried it before and it's not good, then I'll have to go with the actual version of it. But yeah, this one. But yeah, this was basically back then of the roster it was. Some of the characters did make it on, like Bubsy and the Wacky Boss Eye. But most of them was kind of like tossed to the side. With that being said, though, that's pretty much all of the test footage. Now look at the actual first moveset that I was hoping to not go through again, but it was the first, so Anything other character? Oh yeah, I also had like Law character. Most of them were from Gary's mod. Like some of them I could work with Gary's mod model and stuff. But yeah, that was kind of it. And my dogs are barking. Wonderful. I like when my dogs bark when I stream. Oh. Family man. Oh yeah, there was also this thing where like I was gonna do like a stage showcase and like assist trophy. Funny enough, Big Chungus was gonna be like one of those things. I think it was mainly because of that one mobile game that had like Big Chungus on there. Like he was he had like a special move where he like grows extra big. It's like flatten anyone on stage. Probably would be cheap now and then, but then again, it'd probably also be like that Moon assist trophy from like Smash Brothers. Yeah, fried chili cheese dog SpongeBob was a character that I would like. It was one character I wanted to do a lot because I really enjoy those videos. I wasn't really aware that this is for most of the characters. I was not aware that he was already planned for another Law series, similar to how I wasn't prepared that SMG4 Mario was already planned for. I mean, I guess it makes sense for SMG4 Mario, but I didn't think anyone else knew about fried chili cheese dog SpongeBob, which was definitely like threw me off. But yeah. Is he still planned or outdated? I don't think I really have any idea on what for Big Chunk is. I'll probably put him in the consider list, but it'll probably be most likely unlikely that he'll be in there. But yeah. Let's get down to the actual meat of the show, the actual moveset, which should be like we're gonna go in like as much order as we can. Well, we're not here because most of the stuff is already here, but yeah, we got like this stuff here. So let's start with Piggy from Roblox. I gotta like set the scene to T real quick. Yeah, that was back when I originally had Mr. Flim Flam as a character as well. For those that don't know, Mr. Flim Flam was a character from a YouTuber named Flamingo. Piggy was a character from a horror game on Roblox based off of Peppa Pig, and to put it simply, this was the reason why I did Piggy first was mainly because of how popular the game was. So I figured if I did something like that, it would help boost views, especially considering that this was around the time I had to cut a couple of characters out, because back then, this was before I learned that most of the characters were already planned. Like, this was back before I discovered that Phil Swift was planned, or SMG form, and stuff. But yeah, I started getting from the Law Unleashed thing, and believe it or not, in order to get like something like that, I did have to buy the outfit to get exactly the same matching appearance. But yeah, it was definitely a good thing that I got rid of Flim Flam around the time, because I kind of lost interest in the character as well as the channel in general. It's a kind of like nothing but constant screaming and stuff, and it does get old after a while. Said the guy who makes YTP for a living. But yeah, let's continue on. Biggie wants to play. Yeah, this one's like I hate when it goes blurred like that. Like, it makes it real difficult to watch and focus on like the chat and stuff. Can I actually detach it? I can't detach. Okay, I can't detach it, but yeah, this was definitely the most earliest. Like, you could definitely tell by the very early piece of like HUD on the bottom and how small and all that stuff. But yeah, this was like, I had to work so little when it comes to Piggy. Like, considering that this was a character from a game where the main antagonist doesn't even jump, I had to like improvise so much, and like, you could already tell that by the very first thing, it was already kind of looking cheap around the time. She said appeared, and that's basically it. How much does it cost? I don't really know. I think Robux back then was like when it comes to an outfit, most of them were like $5 a piece. But yeah. Anyway, that was pretty much it when it comes to like Piggy. Literally, the first thing she said does is it like pops in on the screen. And the reason why is because it was something that was canonical to the game. She said, like, that's how it works. And this was the one of the things that most people have asked me to like completely rework. You see, back then I was trying to like spice something up when it comes to like Piggy mechanic by making the neutral special and the down special work in tangent together in some way, shape, or form. Basically, around that time, can you help me with... Well, I can't really help you with that because I mean, I could help with cameo. Like, I do have cameo sprites for like some of the characters, but anyway, what's the character you hate seeing and you added? It was definitely Piggy because it was mostly outdated. Like, it was so extremely rough. As I was like saying before, this was back then I tried to spice this character moveset up by combining and like making two moves that work together. Like one move would do one thing and it would help with the other moveset. And basically I kind of got the it was something to like make this a little bit interesting while also being fitting for the character in terms of gameplay style based off the original source material. Because in the original source, when it comes to like traps and stuff, you usually have to like buy the traps from not the Roblox store, but like the in-game store, like in Piggy's personal like store, where you spend like points and stuff. And basically, what I try to do is like make it to where like Piggy will switch out each particular app. I'll let the video explain itself. Yeah, like, you basically press the neutral B button, and like by pressing down B you can set the trap of your choice. And see, each of them have their own attributes and their own stats and stuff. Something I should definitely note is that I suck at keeping track of time. Like, I could not tell you, like, which is the overall best particular time. Sometimes I would put something that would be, like, too long of a timer, something that would be too short of a timer. There's a reason why I usually go with, like, something like long cooldown, or short cooldown, or short time, or long time, because I cannot keep any track of actual seconds. Like, I could not tell you if a second is, like, too short or too long. So I should go with the easier route of just saying long cooldown or short cooldown, because it's such easier back then than such literally keeping track of time. I'm not a time lord. I haven't watched Doctor Who, you know, and actually, why is the Dingo logo so small? That was sort of something back then. I didn't really, like, keep track of scaling. Like, see how I put, like, 7 second and, like, 8 second on cooldown? And, like, you could tell just by the overall gap that it will probably come out being making some of these things, like, way too powerful than it's originally have. Or too, like, easy to, like, break and stuff. I don't even know if that was the right time or not. Yeah, some of the old stages from back then were definitely different around the time. Like, some were obviously screenshot, like with the campsite and stuff. There's the original saloon with the horses and stuff. This one was mostly edited. I did like a lot of stitching with this on combining the Wild West setting with the jungle. You could even see the lion in the background. My god! Some were screenshot, like with this scene right here. And like some were like more so edited. Like this was such a generic kitchen that I said found on a Google image. And I said traced the like the SpongeBob paper mache houses and stuff right on there, because you don't see the entire kitchen at like a particular angle. So from the those SpongeBob commercial shorts and stuff, so I said constructed the stage in a style that's like sort of similar, but not too much similar. Like, it's like I said, it's a generic kitchen. That's the best I could work with around the time. Was the Dingo Town? Yeah, considering that when Wabu was no longer in the series, I did give the stage to the to Hammerman for him to use in his Lawl series. He did like a couple of edited, like removed horses and stuff, but it was the stage from that was originally Wabu, and now it could be still Wabu's and stuff. Yeah, I think Blinker's stage, which is this one, I think this one was my least favorite because you could just tell how cramped it was. It was kind of difficult to work on the stage for Blinker, so I just took a couple of shapes, a couple of triangles, and like to try to make a stage out of that. And apparently I did not make the I kind of made the roof too low for this one, so it came off looking like a very tight area. Like, you don't really have a whole lot of place to jump in this stage, especially when you have those like cracks in the middle of each stage. So it's like visually, visually, Blinker stage looked cool, but like in terms of actual gameplay style, it kind of looked cramped. Maybe if like the middle platform on top of Blinker was like, if you could probably make it like not too overly solid, like you could like phase through it, then you'll probably get something out of it at least. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on some of these stages, especially for this one, because I was so hoping to do fried chili cheese tart, SpongeBob. Like, as soon as I was done with Piggy, all of a sudden learned that he was already taken. He was already in another Law series, and definitely an impressive Law series too. So obviously, I could not keep the stage, or at least most of the stage, from that matter. But yeah, 15 seconds. You could definitely see why I went for like long cooldown and short cooldown, and like it just makes things easier without trying to be like too complicated or like failing to make sure that I screw up on the size mechanic and stuff. Okay, most of these videos, like, stuff from the, alright. Now, this one, like I said, I did have trouble. Is that a PNG? Yeah, that was a generic kitchen that I found on Google when coming up with a stage for Fried Chili Cheese Dark SpongeBob around the time. Anyway, as I was saying, when it comes to Piggy's side special, I didn't really have a whole lot. Like I said, Evil Neutral B. Yeah, like I said, many people expect me to like completely change up the special move for both the down B and the neutral B, because apparently people didn't like it when like I combined two of the special abilities. They didn't really like vibe with the fact that one special move is connected to the next special move, which is changing the traps for the down B special. The second one, the side B, is definitely probably more straightforward. I couldn't really think of anything. Like, after all, like I said, it was kind of like difficult to really particularly work around a character that like had so little to work with, like so little mobility to work with. So ultimately, I still went with like giving like I don't know why most people were said like, yeah, set the kitchen of a PNG. But anyway, I still gave Piggy the ability to summon a character from the series that she's in which case it's a character called Mousy. Yeah, that's probably like decently a thing. I think I could shorten that move a little bit more. Probably have it like to where it would latch on to the character to damage them, which would stun them for a bit. But that was but like it'd probably be more like 10 to like either 9 or 10% of damage. It would probably latch on and then like just stun the character for like a few small short amount of time. They can also like break out of it. I guess if that's the case, if it wasn't executed very well, then that probably would have like be one of the major reasons. basically Mousy was a move forward and then to disappear. So, which kind of made it to where it doesn't work very well against airborne enemy. Someone did comment that of like what would happen if like Mousy was summoned in mid-air during one of the jumping animation, and I didn't really take account of that because back then I was an amateur. I was like doing this as cheaply as possible. So because of that, I said kind of like worked around it and like forgot about to even address it. I was an idiot back then, so yeah, that was some real awkward flying from like Pubsy. So suddenly go downward in like a slope. All of this because I was too lazy to even like take in account that the character would even like shoot, I can't even speak English to be honest. Bubsy's stage was also kind of a bit of an iffy one because on the one hand it does look like a legit stage, but the reason why I scrapped it because I was so terrible with proportions. Like, as you can clearly see, most of the characters are like way too big for the stage, and like if I shrink them down it would have worked better. Problem was, this is especially for Bubsy, you could only, on Sunny Vegas, I could only shrink a character to a certain amount. Like, I cannot go full on super tiny. I can't really go super small. That would end up being a brick wall on my end, because most of the character sprites are usually like, especially in Bubsy in these, they're like usually in like small little squares when you start them up, and then like when you try to shrink them, it's like to a certain degree. I'm pretty sure I described this in like an earlier one of my other videos back then. That was the main reason why Bubsy was later removed from when it comes to Hyper Edition. Sure, it was back when I kind of forgot about him, but the when it comes to me forgetting about him, and then and like I was planning on bringing him back, but then I remember, there was like these sprite work that's like kind of make, because back then you either have him animated but still a small sprite, which means you can't really work around the ratio that's made to completely block him off from being super tiny, or not super tiny, but like small enough to work, or have him be like a flat blurry PNG image that can shrink small but would not be animated. And like it was kind of a headache, especially when we get to the other animation that required for him, that for like most of his attacks. So basically he was a kind of like, yeah, at least Law Redacted got him. At least he found a home somewhere. If I ever do go back to Bubsy, if Bubsy 4D is good, I could probably use that for sprite instead. It'll be like a Bubsy return moment. But yeah, animation was difficult when it comes to Bubsy. Like, all this because his sprite was like the size of an actual sprite, like an actual small sprite. But yeah, I didn't really like make an account that Piggy couldn't even really jump anywhere anyway, because she couldn't jump in the game. And like, all I did when it comes to her jumping animation was move her head up, and that was it. I didn't even do anything like unique to that. It was nothing. It was literally one small tilting head, and that was it. that's the thing. This was Flim Flam stage, and it's a treehouse. It definitely was a stage. I didn't have too much. I didn't hate this stage all that much. It does look like something that would be a stage. The thing is the grassy bottom that people could land on. And like, one of the things that should be worth noting is that when it comes to like some of the stages I work on, the one that always get me flustered is the fact that I have to make it to where the HUD doesn't block the entire bottom. Because if there's like a platform there and the HUD is covering up the screen, then that would be then that's is a recipe for a headache. Yeah, that's it does kind of look rough once you get down to it. This was another moveset that everyone really hated, and it was one where like it should be straightforward and simple, and should be accurate to the game. But once again, I think the execution was the biggest problem with it. Yep, there's Phil Swift. Yeah, this was Phil Swift's stage, and what I did was I took the Hollywood stage and a couple of sprites from that Chaos Faction game I really enjoyed. Even made a little table full of flex tape. Yeah, I think that was the point where everyone was like, no, this moveset is not gonna work. Not with that move. Not with a move that looks so borderline broken. And like, it's kind of not hard to see why. I mean, you have like a save point that's to save you from. Sure, it's one-time use, but that's the kind of like the overall cheap way to cheat death. Did I even put a timer on like? Did I even put like a cooldown somewhere? Let's see. Does this say? Well, I don't know. I have to like take a look. But yeah, this was the move that was like, it's a kind of like broke Piggy for a while, and this was something I had to like heavily patched out. Still looks so shocked to be here. Yeah, I was not good with like size proportion. When it comes to like trying to get something right in my Law series, I usually had trouble trying to like make sure that this proportion was correct enough. Because I don't usually make like giant large stage. I usually like make stage as much of a medium size as I could get. And the main situation with that is that for some of the more larger stage, I could not even get down to scaling. This was back before I even know about like the art of like moving cameras and stuff. Like now and then I could grab like a footage and then like zoom in and zoom out and all that stuff, and then like that would probably be the easier one. This one is feel like it's trying to replicate old school Law, like OG Law back then when it was like old retro stuff, and it's the kind of look rough in comparison. But yeah, basically, I think the idea for Piggy's teleporting ability was based off of Dr. Wily's up B. If I can remember, it was basically Dr. Wily also had like a teleporting up special that was used for recovery. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Smash Law Wily.
Are you quite sure, Doc?
Let's see if I could find it. Yeah, it was. I think it was around here where I got the idea for Piggy's like up special. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, that was the that point right there was the idea for the Piggy's teleporting move. Could not watch it because the music hurts. It was Flex Seal that was on the table. But yeah, that's basically how Piggy teleporting move worked. Also, yeah, I love how like there's a teleporter on the bottom of the stage, and you can't even get there. I don't even think you could fit there, and that's why I don't like Blicker stage all that much, because something proportion alone it looks completely weird. Like, you gotta love it when like the bodies are clipping through the supposedly large floorboard. I especially like how part of Blicker head is blending into the color. Definitely show you how weird it was. 8 seconds to place another. Okay, so that was kind of. I guess I could have put longer cooldown, but this was completely changed in the patch. Best safe only for recovery or teleport. Hey, that was basically a strategy, and that was it. Let's see, there's the effect of the teleportation. I guess I didn't really take into account, but then again, it probably is too small to even hit anyway, so it doesn't really seem like it would really work all that well. Here's this final smash. That like, look, there's Bolt Bogan. Bolt Bogan is still kind of plain. Like, I still have him on the considered tier list, because there is several like ideas to work with him. Like, he does appear like mostly this was based on a hard time, but I do plan on like also throwing in that meme house reference, like a couple of things from the Sims 4 video that Fine Star Joe did. But mostly this was gonna, back then it was mostly hard time. So who knows what would happen to Bolt Bogan? Maybe like he'll be in Law Nova or something. Who knows? But yeah, this one is pretty much a straightforward final smash. Ooh. Couldn't even be bothered to do anything about it. Bolt Bogan said jumped off the edge of the counter, and that was it. And we got more of that weird animation. I think back then I had the worst time with trying to work with spin effect. Like, there was no plugin I could find for spin effect. I had to do the animation of spinning on my own, and yes, it looks like shit. It's look so bad, because you could obviously tell that all it did was it rotate. Not even that, like barely, like tilt the ratio around the box of the character. Who's the potato? If that's Mr. P. He's the he's the final boss of the first chapter of Piggy. Back on the golden era of the game. But yeah, that was like, yeah. All he mostly does is said shoot left and right, and that was it. Also, like I said, I said kind of made bolts that jump off for no reason. I don't know why. I probably said out of pure laziness or like trying to make it look like someone was playing him and said had no idea how to play us. Yeah. I didn't even do anything with SpongeBob. He's just chilling on the top of the roof, and that was it. He's just happy to be there. But yeah, pretty straightforward. It's walk left and right, and that's it. Yeah, this was from a crappy video I found too. This was a good stage, in all honesty, for a Final Destination style level. Like, all it did was took a Final Destination and just slap on the Saints Row background from the poster, along with the logo on it. But looking at it, it does seem like a pretty nice looking stage, at least. Even if it said Final Destination, it does feel like a pretty decent stage. He's the equivalent of Mr. Yeah, Mr. P said Mr. Potato, but without the trademark. Got the and some cybernetic, but yeah, this was a good stage for what we got. Yeah, like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Thanos was also gonna be planned to be animated along as well. This was back when like I did the reboot and I was considered bringing him back. This was before Marvel like cinematic universe version of like Thanos. I can't speak English. The version of Thanos from Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was definitely a character I have heavily planned on. Basically, it was gonna most likely rely on the special ability, including the Infinity Gauntlet specialty, in which like he will switch between the multiple different gemstone that he have, which will allow him to perform like plenty of like special moves, particularly with like side B and stuff and down B. I think up B will probably be the same, but yeah, that was before he was like kicked to the curb in favor of like the movie version of Thanos, which was definitely more popular than like MVC2 Thanos. And like I still consider doing Thanos when it comes to like when I ever get back to him. I do have like plenty of characters I need to get back to. I have a whole consider list I need to like clear out from characters I'm like no longer interested, or like don't have enough material, or I can only think of a few moves for. But yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 2 Thanos was a character that was high on the bucket list before the sudden change, because, and this was back before, like, back then, most people usually said frown upon the fact of a fighting game character in Smash Law. Like, sure, now and then you got, like, the actual Smash Brother having, like, Kazula and Ken and Ryu and Terry. But, like, back then, when it comes to Law, they did not provide anything for, like, they have basically, it was like fighting game character with, like, one of the, 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not make moveset out of fighting game character. Of course, that does eventually change with some fighting game character in Law. I mean, heck, Draman is in my Law series right now, so at least now we have a good clarification that as long as it's done well, as long as you provide something that makes this moveset work, a fighting game character can actually work in a Law series. You just gotta like put the extra time to make sure that it's unique enough for it. Yeah, there are probably like several other characters that could work well. Yeah, Peggy barely even have much sound either, so all I did with this one, for the Star KO, all I did was slow down. And speaking of Star KOs, like, ignoring the badly alpha channeled blinker there, where all I did was to remove the black screen, couldn't even be bothered making a green screen of this one, because there was no green screen blinker. Let's take a look at the animation for the Star KO. That was my attempt, my very first attempt as a spinning animation for the Star KO. And yes, it was a painfully terrible experience. Because again, I could not have any proper way of actually animating a spin effect. Because, like I said before, there was no spin effects like I plug in for like Sunny Vegas. So all I did was like I zoomed in a bit, moved a little bit, zoom in a bit, move in a little bit, up until like a certain point, and it was like the most ugliest looking thing ever. I know that like now and then there's like a thing where you can you know, use the motion effect on like Sunny Vegas to grab the layer and then animate that. The problem is animating the layer also changed the most of the projects. Like anything on that layer will also be animated. So the thing is, I have to like make multiple like scene cuts in order to make sure, like, I had to make multiple keyframes to get the exact right moment in order to make it work. Like, I make the zoom in and make the character spin around, and then, like, when I get to the cropping phase, that's where I start zooming out. But, yeah, this one was, like, look, it's ugly looking now. Because of the lack of spin effects that it had. And that was it. Yeah, in terms of some of the sprite, most of the sprite for Piggy, as well as the Roblox guy, the Roblox pizza delivery guy, they were back then. They were specifically made with Roblox Studios, which was like where you create levels and stuff. And what I usually did was to take the picture from there and like work around that. The thing is, though, it was a slower progress than using Gary's mod for it. Basically, it would make all the characters look stiff in comparison, like extremely stiff. And because Piggy doesn't even have legs, I had to like do so much with like barely much. Hence why one of the taunts is literally head growing. Like a throbbing, growing head for like no discernible reason, and it's like look ridiculous. Yeah, it's kind of good now, even by law standard, but it's like not really the best animation. I'm pretty sure now and then you can get better animation from green screening or chroma keying something scene from like an episode or a movie or something. Victory animation. Hold on, I got mucus. Hold on. Yeah, I hate mucus. But yeah. Here's another thing that people commented on, and this one is definitely justified and definitely something I could definitely like made me look back at this thing on a negative light. Some of the cameos you see in the background of the victory animation, they like, to put it simply, back then I didn't really had a whole lot of characters with their like defeat animation done. So all I did was like took some of the other characters from like other Law series, some of them without any concept or reason, and just slap them on because I mean it's Law. Like, I think it's like pretty obvious, but like people did mention that like Cassandra and I have not asked the original creator about the cameos. Uh, Cassandra and I did not ask the original creator about these cameos. They did. They were not really much allowed there. I had to make. So basically, I just took the characters without even permission, and like now and then, it probably should be obvious that when it comes to like, yeah, they were cameo, but they were not like permission cameo. That I didn't ask them if I could use them. I said like, yeah, that's why I didn't really like enjoy when, because now and then I should make like new animation where it's like losing animation instead of like said delivery slapping on characters that wasn't really asked for, basically. And yeah, that also goes for like the second victory with like Mr. Bump as well. Like the only one that was legit was the third animation with Bubsy. But that mainly because Bubsy was a character in my roster, so yeah, back then it was definitely difficult to make losing pose, especially animated losing pose for like some of the characters. Victory 3 was basically a jump scare. I think this was back when I tried to like get around to like green screen. This was back then before Runway was my go-to in terms of making green screen effects. And what I did was took the took a video of a green screen jump scare and used that. I mean, it was free source. I mean, someone put the green screen on sale. Well, not on sale. It was free, but basically, it was it was a green screen I found that I had to work with to cut fighter on the same screen. And like that was picking a losing animation. I don't even know what like, well, not really animation. It was a PNG. And when it comes to Wabu, I had to manually crop out a lot of the background from it. This is like how most people usually make background. Yeah, that was based off of Phaelus, if you're wondering, from the, if I could, like, find the thing. Yeah, this guy right here, who usually makes, these, like, reviews of, like, old Dingo Picture cartoon, and, like, Wabu being a recurring character in these series. But yeah, Wabu was mostly based off of that, as well as, like, a lot of the Dingo stuff. And that was before Wabu would, like, kicked out of the thing and moved over to throw some Lawl. But yeah, that was all of Piggy moves said around the time. I did make a patch of this character. I think that was the only time I did a patch, because usually when it comes to patches, I have to, like, put a whole lot of my time into making sure I get all the feedback and try to work around that. So yeah, this was basically the updated version of, like, Piggy's natural beat. You can see, like, the difference between the in the HUD and the bottom below. Still rectangular shape, but, like, at least more doable. And now all Piggy had to do was just hold B and, like, just scroll through the traps instead of, like, just pressing one button and, like, relying on the down B from there. I think most of the stats were still the same, but, like I said, I kind of, like, went with cooldowns and stuff, like short stun, shorter stun, long stun, medium slowness, all this stuff. This was an Aqua stage, and, like, you could definitely tell that the Smash version was definitely a lot better, to be honest. I mean, this was a pretty impressive stage, to say the least. Like, you have all the 3 Keyblade warriors and stuff. But the thing is, you also have, like, those walls in the way, which people could easily, like, either block a hit, like, block off a launch, or like, people could just slide through the cracks and stuff. Okay, have a good time, Zed. But, yeah, this was basically a stage that was meant for Aqua. I think I did the animation kind of funky, because looking at the Keyblade for Aqua, I'm pretty sure I got it on backwards. Like I think I got the Keyblade wrong. But yeah, this was for, like, the teleportation pad, in which all Piggies had to do now is to chuck the teleporter in order to get higher ground. Good day, Evan. Yeah, we were so done talking about Piggy and then, like, the original moveset, and, like, now we're on the part where we're, like, I'm talking about, like, the patch video that I did for Piggy. See, now all she does is, like, chuck the teleporter outward. It's not really accurate to the game counterpart, where, like, she would put it down and stuff. But it is definitely more so, like, I believe friendly towards, like, airborne characters and stuff. And I think that's about it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, instead of a short jump, it's like a freaking, like I said before, the stage proportion, sometimes they were taking, like, screenshot of like the map I was in, and like you could just tell just by looking at it, it was pretty rough because it could have been zoomed out a bit more. It could have been like zoomed out to a point where it's like you have plenty of more rooms to work with. Also, for those wondering, this was Kleiner stage because the Kleiner for Gary's mod was based off the Swamp Cinema server that I was I usually like go around playing on, just for the overall humorous fact. Like you could see some of the stuff like movie posters and stuff. But yeah, I also like how it, like when it comes to the movie poster, there's Piggy, there's the wacky boss guy, and there's Bubsy, perfectly aligned on like all three in a row. But yeah, I had to find a replacement for the down B, and like, oh Jesus Christ, this stage, oh man. But yeah, for the down B, we have torture instead, and yeah, and this was back when the imposter was a planned character, because this was back when Among Us was popular. I think it's like not even that popular now, and like I did lost a lot of interest when it comes to the series. So basically, yeah, basically I was like kind of like just done with Among Us by that. I wasn't really that interesting in the game now and then. I don't even think people really talk about it. And by God, do I not like this stage? This was like, woof, this was not a good looking stage. Even like taking out the proportional problem, I would, this is like one of those stages I could not like figure out. It just look weird. It just doesn't look right. Also, like I said before with Bubsy, Imposter Sprite was animated, but that also meant that the proportion was gonna be a problem, because I cannot shrink an animated sprite down if it were like 2 feet and like 2 inches tall, like 200 by 200, like sprite size, like actual like. No, I don't think it was 200. I think it was like 100 to 60 or something. And like, it could only go so small before Sonny Vegas said, no, you can't shrink the sprite any shorter. Which kind of made it more headache to work with. So, yeah. We've basically got a character that, like, I no longer have interest in a terrible stage. But, here's the Torture Down special, where he, like, says summon another character. Yeah, same problem with the Mousy special move. It walked around and then like just disappeared. I think the inspiration was those like bodyguard from Frollo's special move, but like not in a more like not in much of an impressive like style. Also, this was the Tabs stage. I think it could have been better. But then again, like I said, it's a screenshot from the actual game. I think I made this back when I, like... Wasn't this video back when I, like, posted Wacky Boss Guy moveset? I think it was, because, like, a lot of the stuff from Wacky Boss is there. So, there is that. Well, that was the inspiration clip. Alright, next up, we got the Wacky Boss Guy himself, the secondary character, and like this was originally gonna be my OC. Set the Lawl's icon on a Saints Row on a thing. That was basically said it. And it doesn't even look all that impressive because you could obviously like some stitches there and like some wavy paint and stuff. I think I was trying to make the logo like shrug or something. But oh yeah, that's a flashbang. Sorry.
What we got most of the content.
Oh yeah, and I also like. I think this was back when like let me check when this was. 4 years. Yeah, I think this was back when like Uber Ducks and 15 AI was like a thing. So basically, to figure out the voice work for the character, all I basically did was to use Uber Ducks, grab whatever voice it was, and then to use that as like the voice of the character I was. And then effectively, that was what I kind of went with in terms of like video. Now and then, I am trying to learn more about sentence mixing, though. I am trying to like be away from AI voice, mainly because AI is so boring for me. It's like there's nothing new to it. There's nothing really special. Every video looks the same. Every art, especially art always look exactly the same. The same style, the same look, the same like paint. It's a kind of like a overall boring thing. And like when it comes to voices, it's definitely not perfect. At least, like I think the only channel I could recall that like have it correctly, that like at least still piqued my interest, was President Play, which is a president playing video games. I think we all know about channels like that, but aside from that, I haven't really been interested in AI. It's kind of grown tired of it, and the more I hear people like talking about it or rant about it, or like some stupid scumbag decide to exploit it for like the worst way possible. Like I heard Disney was going for it, and it just made me feel like depressed over it. But yeah, I don't really sort of like bring up AI at any point. Yeah, a lot of the stages are definitely like screenshot, but yeah. Yeah, AI was good for like making jokes and stuff. Like I did like a couple of like those TF2 AI video in which like they were playing some game. They were playing like that SpongeBob like camera pants game. But I think now and then 15 AI only have like pony voice actors and stuff, and that was it. It's not even it's not even perfect anymore. It's the kind of like the same stuff. Also, a lot of people that mostly make like covers for like those like music cover where like you have a character that's singing in like songs like My Way and something. That's basically what like most people are doing now and then, and it's kind of get annoying and get stale after a while. But yeah, that's the Wacky Boss guy, and let's see if there's anything wrong here. Oh yeah, I put like a warning down there because this game is violence. I think we all know that Wacky Boss is a very violent game, especially for a Flash game of all things. What happened to AI Rosen? I think I said stop using him. The program I'd use in order to make AI Rosen haven't really been like, there was a character limit, and I didn't want to spend money on I don't want to spend anything set to type in a few words and make a character speak, even if it is clear. I think this stage I'm a little bit mixed on, because it is the stage that is directly inside the helicopter of the Top Hat airship, instead of outside where like there's more free room in it. But then again, all it is that 3 platforms, and that's it. Especially one small one in the middle. That's what kind of set it from there. Like, it's not a bad looking stage. It's a, I feel like there could have been like at least more. But I didn't know how to put like balcony up there or remove the pipes, which you could clearly see are such like merged up with each other. Yep, there's the tab. I couldn't really get a good image of the Tab soldier. Like, the best image I could find was Tab as a caveman. And that was the sort of it. I couldn't really, like, figure out how to, like, make a good render. Sure, I could, like, to take a screenshot of the game and stuff and use that, but, back then, most of my time was like searching for an image to use as a render. And this was definitely back before like Evan became my go-to rendering person. Like you know how I usually like credit Evan for all the render he does? Because he's definitely the best renderer I could work with. More so than I could find to render myself, because I do not know very well about stitching characters and limbs to one another. I'm such like, I to take screenshots and like, and then that's it, and make a work around it. Yeah, this was back before Wacky Boss Guy was even animated too. Like, it's just a still image. Sackboy, I think the reason why I cut Sackboy from the roster was mainly due to the fact that initially I was gonna make him look and play very similar to how he was in like PlayStation Battle All-Star Royal. You all remember that game, the PlayStation 3 Smash Brother copycat. Yeah, Sackboy was gonna have a lot of the move be based off of them. And the reason why I scrapped it is because I feel like it was to end up making it feel too similar to one another. You also make renders? You're gonna have to like show me a couple of renders that you made, so that way. But yeah, I mostly go with Evan as my go-to render person. And like, when it comes to Sackboy, I didn't want to like copy too much from PlayStation All-Star Battle Royale. It would feel kind of lazy, so I still kind of like to remove them because of that. There's that ugly Among Us stage again. And there's that ugly looking like, I think the damage input was kind of too big too. Like, I know it's a heavy computer, but I feel like 15% probably would have been better than 17%. Also, once again, I have a real bad time trying to like work with the rotation that I originally had to deal with. Yeah, those are the inspiration clips. Ramming chair. slight push. Okay, so yeah, slight push, it would like, depending on the physics, it was like slow down or like the overall way that he'll move basically defines how well it will push. Yeah, it would be boring if it like solely based off of like the PlayStation All-Star. Yeah, to stop the moment before the boss get killed. Yeah, see, that's why I was like a bit more iffy on the stage because you see that he hits the wall and so it falls right down to the crack in the corner, where like it wouldn't be too easy to like fall down there, especially when you have like a stage that have like a couple of platforms that you can grab on to save yourself. So it's not really that good of a stage on like in terms of proportional and sizing and stuff. I think if I did make these things like different, like you can definitely tell that like Ventus glass thing with like it feel more in front than Aquas and Terra. That the boss will most likely like go through the thing and then fall down there. But because I rely on a goddamn wall, it's a kind of like look like a very bad stopping point. Also, I seriously believe that I have like Aqua Keyblade the wrong way. Like she's holding the Keyblade wrong, and somehow look hilarious. The Prancing Fantasy. Yeah, that was definitely some awkward animation. I'm pretty sure it should have been like a more upward than like sideways at least. Plus, I probably would have made it like fall a bit faster than like slow down. But then again, I didn't really know speed all that well. And yeah, you can definitely see that Bubsy is behind the portrait. This is what I especially mean when I said I usually get flustered when like a piece of the HUD when I didn't make the stage. I can't speak correctly. When the stage is like set low enough that you can set high in the back of the HUD icon, and it's like kind of get distracting once you get down to it. It's the reason why Claws for Alarm is like set a platform that's like set high enough to where the HUD doesn't get in the way. Which is definitely better than like having nothing. Like, look at the proportion on this one. Like, you got two characters standing on a bunch of rocks and one large platform. Like, why did I not zoom anything any more smaller or bigger? Or like, why don't you just think this stage would even be good to begin with? I guess I would have gone with like Publius or something. Yeah, I need to like. That probably would have been something that would be like patched up to where where the demon will only do like 2 or 3 damage per second before eventually like spitting him out. Like it would be like at least decently numbered, Or maybe I did do it right. I can't really tell. I mean, you might not see it, but the cabinet would disappear from in front of the saloon up to the balcony. I think if I did a patch with it, I would pretty much like make it to where you could damage it and it would do less damage, or like to completely break it. There's a motion component. Shoot it down. Also, the horse would have been like platformed too, but they were also getting away because, like I said, I didn't know how to like add layers to it. Yeah, this was back when JonTron and Pro Jared was a character. I think I forgot to include Pro Jared in the scrapped graveyard. But while JonTron is definitely still considered, Pro Jared was, this was back before Pro Jared was a controversial character, and like while he's not controversial now, this was definitely back before like some ugly drama went down, where apparently it's like it was kind of messy. I don't know why I'm opening a new tab. I'm watching a video, god dang it, don't leave now. Yeah, Pro Jared was kind of a good idea, at least back then, because I was definitely a big fan of like some of the stuff from Normal Boots before like almost everyone became controversial in the Normal Boot community. Basically, you have to read upon it yourself. You have to look it up, because I'm not gonna like explain too much, but like, yeah, JonTron is still considered, to say the least, he's still on the considered tier list. But I am more so thinking like putting him like on limbo, because I haven't really seen a whole lot of JonTron content since he decided to drift away from like, since he's decided to drift off from making usual like gameplay videos and like movie reviews, and so just doing whatever. I don't know what kind of content he's like making now and then. He said like to picking something at random, and it's like kind of like made it hard to really like get around. I'm pretty sure this will be based on like classic JonTron at least. I think one of the other reasons why I scrapped Pro Jared was because I had the overall worst time trying to work with a character who doesn't even have a full body appear on screen most of the time. Like it's usually on the the upper body. Like, you don't see the lower area, you don't see the pants, you don't see the shoes. So what I had to do was grab a generic PNG of like some guy, crop out as much as I can, and use that for the idle animation. It looked kind of rough, as you can clearly see by the sliced up arm there. But yeah, this was definitely an idea. Yeah, this was definitely an interesting idea for a final smash for the wacky boss guy, where he grabs at the character with the least amount of damage and slams it down, also damaging the person that's like behind him. If it's like depending on like where the arm lean over at. It was also like around here that I didn't really have a whole lot of time to make character animation like smash attack and stuff. So my only alternative was to use invisible character. It was kind of, most people consider it lazy, and like, well, I didn't have time to like make any character like smash attack. I still need some time to like come up with the idea in order to like attack them, and like it's a kind of like trying to work around it in time to make sure that by then I would have a character and that basically in the next moveset like Wacky Boss would have done a lot. And like I think because I was too annoyed with like constructing Piggy, that I just kind of like abandoned and like didn't like even use her for them. She probably would have used the same smash attack the entire video during that part, and then when it gets to like the upward, it's like, I don't know, something. Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, it's never easy at first until like you get used to it by this point. Hence why I managed to like make better work with like Wacky Boss sprite rather than like most of the other character sprite. Like, I have to definitely empathize when it comes to making like the damage sprite for Wacky Boss. Like, you can just see that the face doesn't look completely off. Like, it doesn't feel like something that fit well. It's just like something that's like hastily drawn over just to make work. Yeah, that was I had this weird idea for like custom explosion effects, like custom star effects and stuff. Also, so look how bad this effect is. Like I said, this was back before I even know how to like do spinning thing very well, because back then I did it, like I said, no plugin, so I had to like either make the spin effect in the most awkward, ugly way possible, or just zoom in and just slightly tilt. That was better than like having the characters that jumble around awkwardly all over the place before exploding. Yeah, it was definitely an awkward time around then. You know, what was he even looking at back then? Like, what was he giving thumbs up to? It was at the wall. Also, this was back before Wacky Boss even had a stage, because I didn't even know what to make a stage for in terms of what would be for Wacky Boss Guy. I mean, there's nowhere in the main central game that will work because, well, the office is too small and you never really see outside the building. Basically, later on I was to use the building from another stage, from another Wacky Boss game. Once it's not even by the same creator, it was made by a different guy. You probably know it for that giant Godzilla looking thing in the background, holding like the mean boss guy and stuff. Had a 8-bit crush that one. Anyway, on to the victory animation.
No way. No want. No work.
Oh boy. Yeah, I couldn't really find a good sprite for Bubsy, so all I did was to use this GIF animation. Since it was, I was trying to, And this was when I tried to like make custom stock icons and different looks for the victory screen. As you can see, because of that, Bubsy's slowing down animations that look really weird on his victory, well, losing animation. Like, it, like, for some reason, this thing did not like GIF file. It's a really hate GIF files. Welcome back, Zeb. Yeah, this was back before he had like a stage. Like, there was the victory background, but he didn't have the stage for it. I think it was mostly character based, or at least it was, I think. Yeah, this one's definitely cropped out because I did not know how to extract the sprite from the actual Flash game. So I had to like crop down manually of each and every frame, and like I think even on like even if I try to do this now and then on Runway, it would still kind of look difficult to crop down because the background is like black and white, or should I say grayish and white, and it would definitely have a hard time picking up such two characters and like remove the one particular character from the background. This also applies to like the background remover that I used to use. Like even that have problem trying to get like the Wacky Boss guy sprite out. And even if I do know how to extract sprite, the Wacky Boss guy is somehow unique, as instead of just simply having like specific sprite of the character of its own, it would instead have like the entire scene of like the kill animation. What is the victory theme? The victory theme, I believe, was from like the devil animation when you do like the devil kill move. Or maybe it was like, let me see. Yeah, it was from this animation, I believe. The Hand of God animation. But yeah, I have to manually crop the Wacky Boss guy for some of these animation. And the reason why I have problem with cropping, because when it comes to frame, Sunny Vegas never explains how frames work. Like, I don't know if it's like if the frame was too early, too late, if it like looks off, if it like because when it comes to rendering, it looks normal. Like before the rendering, it looks like I have anything in place, and then when I get down to rendering, now all of a sudden every frame is like completely off by one, like, and it's like it's very annoying to like calculate these things. It's the reason why I prefer green screen over the over manual cropping. And that was it. That was Victory 3.
No. Wrong.
Good sound. Yeah, the inside was taken from Gary's mod, as usual. But yeah, that was the Wacky Boss guy moveset. Pretty straightforward. I think this was this was way more better than the Piggy one, because there definitely is a lot more idea that works better for this one, rather than the overall complicated and messiness that was Piggy's moveset. And it's the main reason why Wacky Boss Sky still staying with Law Hyper Edition way more than Piggy ever did. So that's something to take note on. Anyway, next we have Bubsy Bobcat entering the Nexus era, when things start to change. Yeah, we're going through. This one was also like. This one also used like Uber Ducks. And it tried to make a lore involving like portals between worlds. But that was a sort of like. Now I'm trying to like work on a new story with like Limbo and like. I think this was back when Pibby was a character, if I could like recall. Like learning with Pibby, and like the trailer for the series that came out, and like I had a crazy idea. Yeah, this was back when Pibby was a character back then. Because I was definitely interested in the story of like the whole darkness that would corrupt the like crossover world and stuff. What could possibly go wrong? But yeah, when the show like got like scrapped and like nobody ever like nobody in Adult Swim would ever like consider this airing it. Basically, that was the entire plan right there. Said dead in the water. Like I did plan some moves for Pibby. I actually did. It legitimately had a good progress of ideas for Pibby. But the thing is, I could not. Is that people already spoken, and the moveset was unfortunately scrapped, and that's what bums me out because, like I said, I had a good story for that, and it was like the fact that the show didn't even get out of the pilot definitely show how upsetting it was for when it comes to like having her alone. But yeah, next up we got Bubsy.
3, 2, 1, go!
Yeah, see the. Once again, trying to like change the HUD. I think I made this one too big though. And I even like shortened up the stage of Bubsy entirely. I think this was the first original instance of an Omega stage variant for a character stage. And this was before Claws for Alarm, of all things. Yeah, and around this time I had to like write up some like description of the character as well as the how he actually play based off his how he is in terms of like his usual gameplay and like I can't speak English, but yeah, he was basically a risk and reward character. Yeah, I wasn't really good with knockback either, so basically I tried to scoot around the character a bit without making sure they get like sent flying on the screen. But because of the proportion was like completely off, it was kind of difficult to really like judge the distance between when the character is backing off away from the camera or off the stage. Basically, you'll see what I mean as we get like further along the line. someone did mention that the knockback was like too big on some of these movesets. Yeah, this was when Tricky was a character, and like instead of rather using the Friday Night Funkin' version, which was definitely popular around on the time, the I did try to use like the original source from Madness Combat, and the reason why I scrapped Tricky was trying to work with sprite for this character was a pain. In like, for one thing, it was difficult to even find sprite of the character to begin with. Sure, I could have gone with a sprite extractor from like that would like extract sprite from Flash Ash utensils and stuff, or Flash games and stuff. But I didn't really like have the program, and I couldn't even figure out how to even make it work. So I tried to look for sprites in like somewhere else. Like all I need to do was find the hand sprite, the body sprite, straightforward stuff. And the thing is there's usually like it's usually in a way that it's like so frustrating that for like basically either would not be transparent, it'll be in a different style. It'll be missing some of the parts, like some of the limbs and stuff, or it was to not be like good at all. Basically, it was a pain in the ass to work with like the sprite work for Tricky, and like I did have like a whole set of moveset done. I did plan everything there, but because of the sprite alone, I just kind of got annoyed by it by the end of it. Yeah, these were a good idea. I'm actually hoping that somebody else would take some of these good ideas and like make work. Like I could definitely see someone making Tricky work in their Law series. Far more than I could, at least. Yeah, that HUD's kind of getting in the way now. You could barely even see Bubsy there. I don't know why it made like 20 feet long for some reason. Yeah, I had to like shrink down the text for the high flying move. And that was a 10%. Like, I don't think it should have caused that much of a high. Even back then I had to decide, oh yeah, this thing definitely needed like a better stage than like such a house.
Try pouncing to attack enemies? Well, that's easy for you to say, Mr. Game, but have you actually tried to do that yourself? It's useless. You either fly over everything immediately into danger, or it just doesn't work at all.
I like how I have to use a categories clip for that. It's especially more funny because Caddy is the character that's currently on the roster. So the fact that I had to use categories clips to explain the pouncing mechanic is definitely something like that's made me chuckle with it. Let's watch it again.
Try pouncing to attack enemies? Well, that's easy for you to say, Mr. Game, but have you actually tried to do that yourself? It's useless. You either fly over everything immediately into danger, or it just doesn't work at all.
Anyway, Glide Pad. This was something from Bubsy 3D, because you can't have Bubsy without mentioning Bubsy 3D. Yeah, I really hate these giant ass HUDs. Yeah, that was one of the few examples of a team-based helper type. Caddy before he joined the roster, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know these things would damage you when I first played the game, so the fact that that's like an inspirational for the part of the move, so it kind of works, huh? Yep, there's Pibby and there's Fred Flintstone. I don't know why I decided on Fred Flintstone. Maybe because the Pibby thing was like after Pibby, you just kind of like had to include Fred back then, because it just seemed like something that was kind of like goes together. This was before Popeye was even announced or even recommended. I don't know if I should keep Fred Flintstone, because it does seem like, given the fact that he have like a show that like expand upon decades and stuff with like plenty of episodes, it's like kind of makes it hard to work with. Not to mention, I don't think Fred does a whole lot in the show, so it's not like there's a lot to work with in terms of material. Oh, did not mean to press the back button. Yeah, my mouse got like a backspace button, which somehow back pushed it to like go back a page or two. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think someone else could probably like do Fred Flintstone. Unless I do actually find something interesting to work with. Well, that was basically just Arnold from there. By the way, fun fact, Bubsy sprite actually came from the from a Mugen character that was made for Bubsy, in which Bubsy was actually a fighting character. Like, here, I'll show you what I mean if I could find like the video. Yeah, this character right here, this version.
That's it, I'm out of here. Wait. Another.
But yeah, most of the ideas and some of the sprites definitely come from that particular file, because because back then I had like Fighter Factory, which did help with some of the characters and stuff. Doesn't countless job and go.
Yes, no, yes.
Yeah, this one's like, once again I try to like do some cropping. I think this was back when I tried to like use a background remover that wasn't runaway I meant, and like you could definitely see it looks a bit off. Like it looks like it doesn't look too overly good.
Yes, oh yes, I like it. Now, I'm gonna end that. What a rush!
Yeah, still got that invisible fighter to deal with. Don't worry, that I think that will change in the next moveset I did. But back then, like I said, so I kind of got lazy and like try to like put as much as I can on like. I think I was more focused on the sound rather than like providing every character their own special abilities.
Is there a doctor in the house? Oh, I think I broke something.
But yeah, this was around the time I got the spinning down this time, so at least it was improvement.
That's it! What could possibly go wrong? Are you still playing this thing?
Alright,
I win! I win! What could possibly go wrong? Nothing can stop me now!
No way.
yeah, and you probably already know, like, Bubsy, like, animation from there. At least that time I didn't, like...
No want.
I think back then I said use, like, a picture of the screens instead of, like, the actual, like, GIF file, which made it look a little bit better that time. Also, I didn't really have anything lore related, so I just kind of, like, said put as much as I can and put, like, a little bit less effort there. Yeah, Bubsy was a pretty good moveset, all things considered, for, like... It was definitely good, but the reason why I didn't keep Bubsy around was the fact that the sprite that I had... the sprite I used for him could not shrink very well, and it was kind of getting too overly annoying to work with. And, like, when I did end up forgetting to include him, I was considering putting him back, but then I just figured, like... I was not gonna, like, keep relying on, like, the annoyance of the sprite of sizing and stuff. But, yeah, I'm definitely glad Bubsy's been redacted at least, so that's, that does seem like a better spot for him. I'm actually looking forward to when that moveset does eventually come out. Anyway, next up we got the Roblox pizza delivery guy. For those that remember, the Roblox pizza delivery guy was cut mainly due to the fact that Roblox itself was going under controversy around earlier this year, I believe, where apparently they start banning people who were trying to like take down the those, how do I say this without getting, like, basically, where's the first Nexus Victory theme volume? I don't know what you're talking about, Victory. But basically Roblox was kind of like on a rough spot, and it was starting to become less enjoyable to keep on using and keep on playing. So basically I said kick the pizza guy out of the roster sometime later on, I believe. I think he was the latest person to be kicked from the roster, to say the least. But yeah. Yeah, this is a gameplay for the first few seconds. Yeah, and then a shadowy businessman come by, lay down an invitation, and that was it. What an intro animation. Yeah, it was definitely a long time ago. I haven't really done a whole lot of sprite for the pizza guy since this video. I've been mostly reusing a couple of one, and by the time the controversy on Roblox became like mainstay, I still couldn't really keep them around, basically. Yeah, he was like ask for random, like, the 4 items. Yeah, this was based off a Mr. Game & Watch, like, paint bucket tool. Yep, that's a whole lot of scissor. Most people were like, when I did the video that explained why I cut the robot guy, a lot of people asked me to remove the scissor that was in the thumbnail. So I had to like do everything I can to get rid of it and then like repost it on the thing. And like it took a while for the thumbnail to actually change on Discord. So it was kind of like, it's always the silhouette who is mysteriously handicapped. Yeah. You don't need any other lore besides a guy throwing an invitation. But yeah, this was based off a Mr. Game & Watch paint bucket thing, and it's kind of obvious because of that. Yeah, Peter Griffin was also considered. I even plan on making him and Fred Flintstone rival because they were both fatherly figure of like 2 different time frame. Thing is, the reason why I cut Peter, because Family Guy had gotten so hard to watch in the span of like later season. Like it was kind of difficult to really get around to enjoying Family Guy after so many seasons and so many mediocre episodes. Like, I looked through the episode guide, there was an episode called Stewie's First Word. Like, Stewie's been speaking the entire time. What do you mean his first word? And like, that's sort of like the overall laziness that one would really get. Hence why I said kind of stop including Peter Griffin, because I don't want to like binge watch the whole show and to get to the worser episode, all for the sole purpose of a move set. It's also why I like got rid of Meg in the consider tier list. I still didn't really like want to get around to watching Family Guy at this point. Yeah, best not to milk the series. Peter, don't turn me into a law fighter. Peter. Yeah, Peter, like, someone else could probably do Peter Griffin. I said rather not, like, I'd rather not deal with it. Boy, Lois, remember the time when I was a cis trophy in Law X? Yep, there's the pizza box. Yeah, I did a lot of recording for, like, those footage right there. Everything except Side B. Side B was a completely different beast altogether. Because the scooter bike was actually, like, a game pass that you had to spend Robux to get. And I did not have the Robux to get this bike during the time of making this. So what I did was like grab a random scooter from the game and then make a random sprite of the roadblock guy riding sideways. Also, yes, this is basically Warrior's bike, but without the crashing. At least I think. Yeah, this was Piggy, like, this was a new stage for Piggy that, based on the final level, instead of the outside of the house, I still figured it was more work to work with. Because at least there you have, like, platforms that actually, like, look better. Oh yeah, Stephen He was also there. And the reason why Stephen He was cut from the main roster, because I could not really work around any material for him. Basically, I do not know how to, like... I tried looking at as many videos of Stephen He as I can, and I couldn't really find everything to make work. And it was kind of like... After a while, it's kind of, like... became too much of a difficult task to work. He's still a funny guy. I think there's like several videos that he still made that sometimes works. But I haven't watched him in a while, and I think it's to kind of grow at it. Emotional damage. But yeah, his idle animation was actually from one of those videos too, where it's like, where's the emotional damage came from. We're getting some swing by. Yeah, I had to like get another person footage because I didn't have the Game Pass. Conveyor belt. Yep, that is a conveyor belt. I think that because of the proportion that I had to like, because everything was so big, I had to like do a whole bunch of shrinking down and like short jumps. But you probably get the idea. It probably would have launched the guy at least a little bit more further than the size that he kind of worked. Also, the conveyor was a bit bigger, so I had to like shrink that down as well. Like in game, it's like, and this was back before like the conveyor belt was to change completely. So there's also that. Like I had to make Tricky like drop down in order to make that work, because it doesn't go completely upward, like go slanted, like tilted upward, but mostly like forward basically. H difficulty was where you... Yeah, it was... Yeah, it probably was there. I will sing you to Jesus. Was the Spider Smash sending people to Jesus? I mean, who knows? Yeah, player move more forward, a partner move a little bit upward, and enemies that kind of like goes very low. Yeah, that was from an older version of the game back when the conveyor belt was completely different. Yeah, even though I had a new stage for Piggy, I somehow kept the house for whatever reason. I'm not really 100% sure why, maybe because it's iconic or something. It burns! Yeah, never mind the guy that was burning in the oven back there. Like, let me back up. If I could even do it. Like, never mind the person that was burning there. It more so the soda that was inside the oven that caused the whole popping effect. Like, ignore this person just decided to cook and focus on the soda can instead. And then we got like William Afton, which back then was completely like, basically it was Springtrap, but with the purple guy Ghost following behind him. A sort of like let's say Rosalina and the Luna Star. It was kind of like that. That was the idea for William Afton. And I think when it comes to making his sprite, I grabbed the worst model for Springtrap. Like, it wasn't from any particular game aimed at maybe that, or the sprite kind of look off, maybe the ragdoll was off, the lighting was off. It's a kind of like look ugly and didn't really work very well, hence why it's a kind of look too like shadeless for some reason. But yeah, the idea was to have like these two work off each other. Like, they were sending the Phantom and all this stuff. They would have like an upbeat where it would like vent and stuff. And the reason why I canceled William Afton was because I still kind of lost interest in Five Nights at Freddy at that point. Like, the series that kind of honestly didn't really appeal to me as much as it used to. And there wasn't really anything like much to say. So I still kind of like to like said left it alone as it is. I still kind of like to left the idea away. Springtrap does eventually have a moveset later down the line, so at least you could take that for what it is. 2 scrap characters made up in Odyssey. Yeah, Odyssey seemed to have all the good collection in the mind. But yeah, basically, pizza guy get a big truck, and then like backs up, drops some pizza, and that's pretty much how it works. I still like the animation where it's like the ghosts that like fly behind the killer. Anyway, let's continue on. Oh yeah, this was the inspiration clip where I said dump pizza on a bunch of like some random guy house. Free stuff. Okay, I think it was around when like the next move set where I actually did include actual characters instead of flat out nothing. Those are the taunts. Yeah, I think this was around when Runway was a thing. And by the time Runway was a thing, I managed to get around to mastering green screen, stuff like that. There's a few hiccups here and there, but it was definitely better than like. I also think I had like a plugin around that time that actually provided better like chroma key effects than Sunny Vegas ever did, because Sunny Vegas default green screen chroma key effect, it's a kind of like feel like it's not getting the right angle. Like It sometimes feels off, sometimes doesn't really work all that well. Sometimes doesn't get rid of the background all that well. Sometimes got rid of too much of the stuff right there. And more importantly, the character would somehow have a completely different color. Like, it would be missing a color or two for whatever reason. And that part alone was the most annoying part when it comes to green screening. The Invisible Man moveset would be cool. On you, Invisible Man. I like how Peter was dead on the background. Yeah, Victory 3 was like... I wanted like I think around that time I wanted to make like something special for Victory 3. Where if you didn't lose a stock at the builder stage, which would put you in a fancy suit like this. Yeah, some of the animated lose animation were pretty neat, but they were also pretty much of a pain to work. Like, I think the reason why was mainly because I don't know if it was because of the framing issue, like the keyframe, like, or the to find the losing animation alone. At least losing animation with a full bodies on it. Because most of the losing animation people usually use like from the upper half, which is like a bit more like difficult when you have to like stitch across a body on. I did try multiple different ways to get them working around there, but it's a tomato kind of thing. Welcome back. We are yeah, the Family Guy death pose. And that was Pizza Guy. Yeah, that was the entirety of like season 1 pack from there. Like I even had like a flashy animation to show season 1 finally finished. All 4 characters are done. And then you got like the rest of the roster here. Look at that roster. Shame that 95% of them are cut. But yeah, you could also, you could definitely see like Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Thanos was there to try and sneak his way. One of the characters that was originally planned was like Chameleon from Mortal Kombat, but more specifically from the animation, the Street Fighter vs. Mortal Kombat, which is a really damn good animation. If I could like show you real quick. Yeah, this one right here that I'm talking about. Like, that's some good animation. And like, Street Fighter vs. Mortal Kombat 3 Command was such a heavily planned character that I was so hoping to get through. And like, this was around the time where a fighting game character was starting to get like, I think was still frowned upon, but I was gonna make an exception with it. Of course, then the reason why Chameleon was scrapped was mainly because I had to uncut him in order to make room for like the characters in the empty slot. Because aside from Demoman and Genie, as well as May, which was a self-placed character, one of the characters I was not expecting to win that empty slot was Ugly Sonic. Like, I did not think that people want me to work on a character who only had a cameo in a Chip and Dale movie and one singular trailer. Like, that is quite a tall order for a character that was originally a filler. Like, I should put Ugly Sonic there just to fill a spot as a joke. And I did not expect people to be like, yeah, give this guy a moveset. I mean, it did work out in the end, even though at the cost of my sanity, of course, but it was definitely something I was not expecting. But it was because of that I had to cut Chameleon out of the roster in order to make that work, in order to fill him in. And this was definitely before I had to start cleaning up the entire roster and getting rid of all the characters. Like, it was difficult to plan so much of the overall characters that it was pretty much guaranteed a bit of a mess. But yeah, just saying that Ugly Sonic did turn out well, I would say it was decent enough. And there was multiple attempts to bring Chameleon back, but when I saw that he was announced in Galaxy, well, good job at least. I was definitely glad to see like Chameleon in some way, shape, or form. I'm definitely looking forward for when that. I'm not really like a fan of the music that was announced for the Victory theme for Chameleon. I feel like they could have gone with like a Mortal Kombat remix, because it does seem like more fitting than like the Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat 1. I feel like it would have been better to have like a remix instead. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward for Chameleon in Galaxy at least. Now I would essentially like, oh yeah, we also got like the Tofu Duo, which was an assist trophy. I mean, we might as well watch this real quick. And there it is. There's even the animation based off it. And this was based off a meme, by the way, in case you're wondering. But, yeah, that was basically the entire assist trophy. Now, I would end the stream and we'll have, like, a part 2. Yes, I did Ugly Sonic. I did it, like, a while back now. But, yeah, as much as I would end it out, we do have, like, one more moveset. And it's definitely the worst one of all, which is definitely the most upsetting, because this was when I would try to be experimental, and I could not, and I was definitely brain dead for some reason to think this will work. Basically, what if I turn a webcam into a moveset, basically? Like, not even a character, set a square into a moveset. Of a YouTuber that I watch a lot over the time. Like, this was something I was proud of for some reason. Even though it was literally set a webcam, a square. That was it. There was no idle animation. There was no, like, literacy. Nothing coming out of the webcam. It was literally such the webcam itself. And this was before, like, the animated version of Tobuscus was ever considered. Like, this was before, like, web animation Tobuscus was a thing. All this was literally a camera and a few dozen gameplay footage of Minecraft and, like, Happy Wheels and stuff. Ooh, baby.
Hello once again for the first time audience. I never played this before. Look at you. You can join the warrior. This song doesn't have it.
Yeah, and, like, see, this is what I mean. It's a webcam, and that's it. It's literally a square. And, like, I don't know why I literally thought this was the best moveset I could, like, even for an experimental web character in which it was a webcam, it was so kind of like, I don't know if I was too overly ambitious, too drunk, too stupid. I don't even drink. It feels like a complete, like, there's a reason why I unlisted this. This is why I kept it, like, hidden away. The Happy Wheel stage, though, the Happy Wheel was interesting because it was one of those stages to, like, switch around. And, like, it was basically like there was, like, Fire Emblem stage where it was a switch from different style with at least a different, like, background and layers, platforms, and all that stuff. It does at least become different. But I don't know why it's connected to a goddamn webcam. Maybe because back then I was a big fan of Toby games around the time. I watched a lot of the Happy Wheels video. And I used to figure, well, I like the guy so much, I have to make a moveset. And instead of such, like, using, like, sprite image of, like, such a screenshot of Toby doing a vlog or something, all I did was I took the webcam, used a couple of source material from the games and the popular videos and stuff, and make a work around that. That was the kind of, like, it from there.
Hello once again, audience. This song doesn't have words, but
It's not even animated. Like, that's the most saddest part about it. I couldn't even get an animated version of the standing item.
hello once again, audience. Hello once again, audience. Hello once again, audience.
Freaking blocky ass. Yeah, this was one of the example of, like, having to sacrifice too much to work with in terms of, like, because you could definitely see the bow is supposed to be blocky, but because I had to, like, shrink it down, it looked like a blurry mess, and I have no idea how to, like, set it to where it still kept the pixelated looks to it. So it's a kind of look awful. It looked blurry and cheap. Also, I think I edited the thing too rushly. Like, I think I made things too quick. Yeah, I think I, like, kind of, like, sped run some of these because every animation set goes by so quickly. Yeah, and there's the cooldown.
Murder salad. Booyah! Booyah! Oh, hell yeah! Oh!
looked like Toby was a fan of Boyfriend Entropy. Was that the didn't Boyfriend do something similar in the his moveset? I'll have to take a look at that after the stream ends and stuff. Also, I think it was around here I had a better sprite for like Springtrap at least. Like, it doesn't look disgusting anymore. He actually does look slightly better, but I had to use like a red screen to make it work. Yeah, Cooper's just walking around back and forth.
No pun intended! Oh no! Dang it!
Yeah, someone did comment, or at least brought up that the Moa bird from the one of the not Garry's mod, from one of the Minecraft video acted differently compared to the one that I showcase here. I don't know anything about the Minecraft modding community. I do not know anything about the stuff going on in Minecraft or the way people modded it in Minecraft. I should take what I see. I try to work around that, and like I should try to I'm my best. I don't know anything about Minecraft lore and stuff. Yeah, I think the harpoon would be a little bit more broken if it were like bigger. Hence why I put like a small circle around it. Basically, it worked better as a trap that way instead of like having it like shoot out from a far distance like it does in like a regular Happy Wheels level. Also, I kind of pipified the Flintstone stage, and like this was originally also going to be Pippi's stage, but it was like someone did provide me a better version of the stage for Pippi, which was definitely kept around up until her cancellation and removal. It's like someone did question why Pippi doesn't have a stage, and I had to let them know, well, this is the stage right here. It seemed fitting. It canned the series. I don't know why I didn't animate the Pippi getting shot while she was running from the very delayed shot. I don't know why I didn't use the instrumental version of the song too. Like, maybe because I couldn't find an instrumental version of the music that was input up here. Maybe this was back before like vocal remover was really that big of a thing. Like, it is easy to find vocal remover now, but like around that time I could not find any vocal removal. Or maybe I just didn't really think about it too much. Yeah, that's You know, if I ever do get back to this, like, I think I could use the animated version to, like, instead of have it be solely based off the Tobuscus Adventure thing. And it'll probably work a little bit better, although I will change some of the move sets. But, I would have to keep that in mind. Yeah, this was basically a boss in the, one of the mod video of Minecraft. And basically, it's just kind of like a moving square that said, like, attacks whatever it hits. I'll try to make it as similar to the game or the video it was based off of. Hence why I said moves around. I did not like how I did not like how that hand said, like, clip over the freaking face. Like, how did I even miss that part?
I'm dead. We're dead. I'm dead. We're dead. We're dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm dead. I'm not ready. I'm not ready at all. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Where's the exit door? Holy Mother of God! Put your arms around my tombstone. Put your arms around my tombstone. Oh! God dang it!
And that was the inspiration clip. You couldn't find the Get Lucky instrumental. Oh yeah, I forgot this was based off of a Daft Punk song. I guess I should have used that and to pretend, hey, get bloody. But, yeah, that was the kind of, like, it from the moveset perspective. I think, at least this time around, the KO actually have, like, smash animation instead of an invisible person. It's like Devilman before the reveal. He said he wasn't ready, and yet he... No good in the...
Merry Christmas, sucker! Yeah, all y'all suck.
Do you like my sword, sword, my diamond sword?
Couldn't even animate his mouth. That's like... That should be like the first thing to do, to make sure to have like an animation where his mouth moves while he's swinging.
Go get Nation not right to watch next video. Bless your face. If you sneeze on this video, bless you. Peace out.
Alright, that was victory 1. Victory 2, and then he said leaves. Mostly trigger with 1 stock remaining. Won't work unless you start with 3 stock and above. Yeah, I think the reactions are pretty much hilarious. It's why I usually enjoy those, like, rage episode where, like, you play Happy Wheel, he gets to an extremely difficult level made by some guy, and, like, flips out in a hilarious way. But, yeah, that was Tobuscus. That was definitely the most awkward video I ever did, and I still have no clue why I thought this was ever a good idea. If I stuck with, if I ever agreed with the animated version, it probably would have gone so much better than such square box. There is, this video does announce the winners of the empty slot too, so people know who won at least.
Let's do it!
There's Demo Man. I didn't really see the vote on screen. Oh yeah, 16 votes.
I'm getting you!
I don't think so. Not right now.
You're getting your wishes, so now!
And there's Genie, and of course, the one that caused our commune to be cancelled. Which is right here. It was a 3-way tie. And one of those 3-way tie was somehow freaking Ugly Sonic of all characters. That threw me off so much. But yeah, looking back at the Tobuscan moveset, this was definitely not my best idea. I do not know why I thought... the tank from Left 4 Dead was experimental, and even he was a better, executed character, to say the least. And, oh yeah, the reason why Benson was cut was because, he was already in another Law series, and, it was definitely, he said it worked out a lot better there than I could really work with. And oh yeah, this was also where May was put in as well.
Let's fight for a better world.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that one. I still consider May my favorite overall. Even if she only got 4 votes, I had to kept her in anyway, cause it's May. It's a character I enjoy a lot. But, yeah, that was basically the first gen era of the Law series I had. I think later on, if I ever get to stream again, we're definitely, we could probably do this again, but we'll be taking a look at the Season 2 era, where, we get to the first empty slot winner and stuff. Ooh, I can't speak. I got a lot of stuff in my throat. Ah! But, yeah, fair enough. Anyway, hope you all enjoy the stream. I know I had looking through all these memories, even though my throat was mostly clogged up half the time. But, I wish you all a great New Year's. I'll probably stream again, either on Sunday or Monday, whenever I'm feeling at my best as soon. Hope you all have a good... Let's hope 2026 becomes better, and I'll see you all another time. Peace!